This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities.
Welcome to Business, Equity, and Opportunities. I'm Scott Sander. What you'll see over the next hour is not a typical business show or newscast. We aim to be an information and inspiration program, here to give you tools to help you build and grow a small business. We turn to contributors from all over our community, CPAs, financiers, civic leaders, our own team of experts, and other business owners. They share experiences guiding you through 7 topics: getting started, accessing capital, the week in business, accounting and bookkeeping, running your business, an industry focus, and an inspirational success story. And the TV program's just part of what we do. Visit our website, beoshow.com, for more information and links to our contributors and video from past episodes. We also have a weekly podcast so you can listen on your schedule. And you can subscribe to our weekly newsletter. It updates every Tuesday. Scan our QR codes for access. Now to the business of business, today on Business, Equity, and Opportunities. How to keep a theater new and contemporary even in its 40th year. The expanding role of women in agriculture. What is a business beneficiary? Courtney Kincaid has the answer. We have marketing tips for the niche business. The Department of Public Works conducts some diversity outreach, and new entrepreneurs get the VIP treatment. First topic, getting started. As we near the end of Pride Month, we're getting a close look at the work of an organization dedicated to building business connections in LGBTQ communities.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Getting started.
Ken Henry is the president of the Indy Rainbow Chamber.
The Indy Rainbow Chamber was founded in 2002, so we just celebrated our 21-year anniversary. And we're the only business organization in the state of Indiana whose sole purpose is the marketing and making the awareness of our LGBTQ businesses in Indianapolis. We do monthly after hours, we do awards events throughout the year to recognize the contributions that our members make to our community. We do quarterly luncheons, well, we were doing them before COVID, but we're going to start them back up, where we can disseminate information about the city and what's going on that can affect their businesses. Well, with social media in the last few years, that's been a big learning curve for a lot of our members. A lot of people were uncomfortable with it at first. A lot of members took right to it. We're very active in social media. So we've kind of helped our membership recognize the value of social media and how that they need to incorporate it in their business plan to be able to proceed forward. That's probably been one of the biggest changes in the last couple of years, and one of the things that we work hard to try to make people realize. And it's all about just making sure that people have information about our community. Definitely more people that want to be allied with the gay and lesbian community and support the gay and lesbian community in Indianapolis specifically takes responsibility for themselves. That's kind of a Hoosier thing, I think, more than anything else. But the allied community to us recognizes those efforts and recognizes that we make the contributions ourselves. That would be the one thing that's been the biggest change in the last 20 years, I would say. What I would say I think is important to get across, Indianapolis has had actually a thriving gay and lesbian business community since the 1970s. Before that, it was mostly nightclubs, a kind of underground scene and all of that. But in the early 1980s, Indianapolis was one of the first, it was actually the third behind San Francisco and Key West, to form a gay business organization in 1982, which is called the Greater Indianapolis Gay Business Association. And at that time, the idea was to market Indianapolis as a place that gay people could come to and they would be comfortable and they would have good experience. A year or two into it, we had the AIDS crisis. And that meant then that the business community had to shift its attention more towards taking care of our community, taking care of the people that had health concerns. And that was just a learning curve. But I think through that entire process, it taught us that if we work together, we can accomplish a lot. And for Indianapolis, being the middle of the Midwest, to be the third oldest, gay and lesbian business organization in the country at that time, it really showed the thought forward that the community had. And we also were one of the very first HIV and AIDS fundraising events that were ever held in the country was here in Indianapolis in 1982, which again was our community stepping up and saying, we recognize we have to take responsibility for ourselves and we're going to do what we can to support the community. That theme has always continued. And that's what, to me, is the most amazing thing. This community recognizes that we need an economy to survive. We have the gay and lesbian community in this country contributes almost $1 trillion to the economy. So we're an important part of the economy, so it's our responsibility to step up and take that responsibility, what it comes with it, and make sure that we do the best that we can for our community. If we come together and work at this together, there's nothing we can't do. Just last Friday night we did a fashion show at 45 degrees, and the fashion show was at 45 degrees. The fashion show had clothes from Heritage Clothier and Home, from Toolbox. The photography was done by an Indie Rainbow Chamber member, and all of it was a fundraiser for the Damien Center. All of us are Indie Rainbow Chamber members, and we could come together, create an event, and it was a huge success. And that's what we just continue to want to share with the community, that if we work together, there's nothing we can't do. Last Friday night we did a fashion show at 45 degrees. The fashion show had clothes from Heritage Clothier and Home, from Toolbox. The photography was done by an Indie Rainbow Chamber member, and all of it was a fundraiser for the Damien Center. All of us are Indie Rainbow Chamber members, and we could come together, create an event, and it was a huge success. And that's what we just continue to want to share with the community, that if we work together, there's nothing we can't do.
Getting started, made possible by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation.
If you'd like to learn more about the work of the Indie Rainbow Chamber, we have a link on our website, beoshow.com. You can get there by scanning the QR code on your screen. If you'd like to ask us a question or like your business to be featured on our show, send us a message at beo@wishtv.com. Coming up, in keeping with its name, how the Phoenix Theater keeps rising from the ashes. Access to capital is on the other side of this break.
Grow your business with Wish TV's featured business directory. For less than $200 a month, be one of the limited businesses in 30 different categories, benefiting from one of the top visited websites in Indiana and Indiana's only statewide news station. Space is limited. Contact us today.
Welcome again to Business Equity and Opportunities. I'm Scott Sander. The Phoenix Theater has been bringing live performances and stage plays to Indianapolis for more than 40 years now. It has survived changes in ownership and location and the pandemic and other challenges to be one of the city's premier community theaters. It takes more than ticket sales, though, to keep the Phoenix rising. And the story is today's access to capital.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Access to capital.
William Powell is the interim CEO of the Phoenix Theater.
Part of the vision for this new facility was to create a cultural center where other performing arts companies could come in and do performances of their work, which gives you a much broader perspective of the community, both in audience as well as in the product that you're performing. It started with a couple of, we call them collectives, so other organizations that do their work here. Coming out of COVID, we've built it up to about, I believe we have about 9 organizations now that are part of the collective at the Cultural Center. I think the business of local theater is changing because coming out of the pandemic, people have to run leaner and more efficiently to get the same work done. And in the case of the Phoenix Theater Cultural Center, we've been able to invite other groups to help share the cost of the facility. It is not just theater. Speak Up is a group that works with formerly homeless people and teaches them speaking skills so that they can tell their lived experience and begin to affect change on a state level, so they are trained to go before government officials and tell their story. One of the things we also do, we have a series of trail talks, which we do in the Odyssey room here, which overlooks the cultural trail. And most recently, we had a show that was done by American Lives Theater Company called The Predictor. The main character of the play was an actual person who is still alive in her 80s and came and did a trail talk about the experience that the story told on stage. So we're trying to connect not just the theater, but our also non-theatrical pieces to real life people and real lived experiences. October is Wrongful Incarceration Month, and we're going to be working with the Bridge Collective, who will be doing trail talks and having people share their lived experience of being wrongfully incarcerated. And we're also hoping to show a movie about the Pendleton 2, which shares the story of two people that are still in prison and have been proven to not be guilty and who shouldn't be incarcerated. They also work in partnership with the prosecutor's office, so it'll be a nice collective of just discussing that issue and having a group of programs surrounding that. The theater has undertaken what we call the Ignite campaign, which is a capital campaign, and a big part of that has been for career development funds. And so we're trying to bring more people of color into the professional side of arts and providing opportunities for them to be trained here. I see some really high quality work coming from a variety of artists, a variety of perspectives, and I see people being able to see themselves on the stage. Because I think people have that moment in the theater where they see themselves and then they're hooked. People get involved, first of all, by buying tickets. We also have many ways to be supported financially through various campaigns that we do. And we have many generous donors and patrons who have helped us over the last 40 years to keep this theater going. So that we will continue with those opportunities and hopefully build a lot of new audiences. With this collective idea, we're getting little individual theaters audiences into this cultural center. So hopefully we're building audiences for everybody. I think the arts, they've always been important. For example, K through 12 in learning. The exposure to the arts greatly enhances people's ability to learn other parts of the curriculum. And I think as adults, we need a space to go to hear a story and to experience a story from different perspectives and to try to gain some sort of insight into this culture that we live in, which at times seems a bit off the wall. And so it's just a nice, cozy experience, sometimes not a great, you want to react to it, so it may not always be a pleasant experience, but to see our world through a different perspective.
To learn more about the Phoenix Theater, you'll find links on our website, beoshow.com. A bit later, Courtney Kincaid explains the importance of declaring business beneficiaries to the IRS. First, though, the growing role of women in agriculture. Stay with us. Welcome back to Business, Equity, and Opportunities. The role of women in professional agriculture has shifted rather rapidly in a generation. Today, many major ag colleges graduate more women than men, puts women at the forefront of climate sustainability. This week in Business, we preview the upcoming Indiana Climate Summit, or In Climate, and discuss the expanding role of women in agriculture.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. This week in Business.
Sarah Beth Aubrey is the CEO of In Climate.
In Climate is a newer organization. We're just 2 years old, and we are really focused on building a productive and practical dialogue around the climate conversation for the agriculture and energy supply chain. So, and one of our special initiatives, again, we're really in the agriculture and energy space, but because women play a critical and emerging and growing role in these industries, we also have developed a Women in Sustainability initiative. And that's something that we're growing, and it's a new focus for us, and we're really looking to bring in women who especially want to work in all aspects of sustainability. In agriculture, that could be conservation work. In the professional segment of the world, it could also be in sustainability or environmental work and other areas. So incredibly, agriculture is ripe with opportunities for women in this profession. Today, we graduate more women with agriculture degrees across the degree segments than men. So the opportunities to have a career in agriculture, whether you want to do it in the sciences, in communications, in leadership, or even in politics, are endless. So networking is a critical part of the climate dialogue. I mean, we know that developing your partners and partnerships is how you get work done and how you advance in the space. So networking is one of our most important functions, and we have 2 events coming up just this next week. The first is Monday the 26th, and it will be the Women in Sustainability Dinner. We still have tickets for that, so all women that are interested or engaged in sustainability, even if they're not in agriculture and energy, we invite them to join us for dinner. That's at Prime 47. And we also have the full day Ag as the Solution Summit, and it's June 27th at Hendricks County. Well, the concerns are broad, they're global, and sometimes they seem endless. And what our group is focused on doing is really paring that down, really making sense out of that and helping our organizations decide what is the best for them. What's the best way they want to pursue it? I mean, you can look at sustainability with concerns such as environmental sustainability. How do you protect your land and your resources, which agriculture is very used to doing and very good at doing. You could also look at sustainability from an economic viability standpoint, and how do you preserve your business for the next generation, which is another one of our primary concerns in agriculture. We're legacy businesses. We operate with families that we want to sustain for many years. So those 2 things are top of mind for us all the time. So today we're standing here at Corteva, and Corteva is a global company that we're proud to have based here in Indiana. They support this initiative by being one of our members. So InClimate is a membership-based organization, and we have members that are both large and small companies based in Indiana with operations throughout the state and frankly the world. So we're happy to have companies like them as part of our network. So this year's summit, we're really focused around 6 different pillars in the large climate conversation. We have a session focused on each one. We talk about things like sustainability, we talk about conservation agriculture, we talk about advanced renewable fuels and others. What we are really designed to do is educate. Our entire purpose is really bringing people together, build a network that helps them make big and right decisions for their organizations, and we want to provide a forum to do that. Those that are interested in this can help certainly by getting involved, and also follow us on social. We have a really open dialogue in places like that that's not just for our members, it's for everyone. So engage with us, comment back. We have surveys and things that we put out, and we'd love to hear from consumers as well as everyone in the audience on how they feel about the topic. I grew up on a grain and livestock farm. My family has farmed for many generations, just like I just talked about. Agriculture is part of my identity and part of the identity of many of us that care about this industry. And it's one of the only industries in the world that touches everyone. So food security and agriculture is also a national security issue, and it's essential that we do what we can to promote it. And environmental sustainability and being part of the climate dialogue are just natural fits for us, and we really want to be a part of that. We're just really happy to be here today. Again, thanks to Corteva and our other members, and we'll see you at the summit.
This Week in Business is made possible by Power.
The InClimate Summit is Tuesday the 27th, Hendricks County Conference Center in Danville. The Women in Sustainability event is tomorrow, Prime 47, downtown Indianapolis. For more about both, the links are at beoshow.com. Scan the QR code, it'll get you there. If your business has an event you'd like us to mention, send us an email, beo@wishtv.com. Later, marketing and promote. Next, though, Courtney Kincaid has beneficial information on business beneficiaries. A business beneficiary is somebody who stands to gain when your business does well. In today's accounting and bookkeeping, key questions to consider: who can be one and how you designate them. Courtney Kincaid knows as the president and CEO of the Indiana CPA Society.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities, Accounting and Bookkeeping.
There are some new requirements relating to beneficial owner information that are coming out and starting to be required very soon with some stiff penalties. As part of the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, there are reporting entities that will need to report who their beneficial owners are in an effort to curb money laundering. These requirements are pretty simple. However, they're going to affect a lot of businesses and entities. And so who needs to file these is really important. By and large, there are pretty broad implications on who will need to file this information. There are 23 exceptions, and some of those are if you're already filing certain information, if you're a publicly traded company, for instance, but also if you meet certain requirements. You're a large employer, so you have over 20 employees. You also have over $5 million in revenue, and you are located here in the United States. So those are some of the two larger exceptions. You can find a long list of the other exceptions online. So this requirement is going to ask that the actual entity file a report, and on that report will be listed all of their beneficial owners. What is a beneficial owner? A beneficial owner is an individual, and so that individual that owns more than 25% in a entity or company, and whether that is a direct ownership, say you own the company, or indirectly through maybe a broker or a bank. The entity itself would identify all of those beneficial owners. So this new requirement is kind of gone under the radar, but is really important for people to know about because it's coming quickly and there are stiff penalties if you do not comply. So looking at the when things will be due. If you already exist, you're already a company or a legal entity, you will be required to file no later than January 1st, 2025. So the next year will be very busy in getting these ready and getting filed. A CPA can help you with filing these, making sure that you're meeting all of the various requirements that the form lays out. For some organizations that might be sole owners, this is still a requirement, but you as the entity would then also name yourself as the sole owner and the beneficiary. New entities that are created after December 31st, 2023 are required to file this information within 30 days. So that's quick. And when you think about starting your business or company, it's going to be really important that you think about this requirement as kind of that starting paperwork. The penalties, if you don't file on time, civil penalties can be up to $500 per day for non-compliance. And then criminal penalties might include a $10,000 fine and up to 2 years in jail. Again, CPAs are up to speed on these requirements. They are ready to help their clients make sure they meet these deadlines and file the proper information, which can sometimes be a little bit confusing.
Past tips on accounting and bookkeeping are always available through our website, beoshow.com. While you're there, sign up for our newsletter. We update it every Tuesday. Subscribe to our Business Equity and Opportunities podcast on the All Indiana Podcast Network as well. Later, we visit another diversity outreach event. First, though, tips for running your business from Lollapalooza. See what we mean in just more than a minute and a half. It is time on Business Equity and Opportunities to talk about running your business day to day. For advice on marketing a unique business with a very targeted customer base, we went to downtown Ollie's in Indianapolis. The GM and head of marketing goes by the memorable moniker Lollapalooza.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities, running your business day to day.
So for our marketing strategy starts with we're never done learning. A lot of businesses make the mistake of going, oh, this is what you do and this is how we're going to do it. But especially as technology changes, fads change, that marketing has to keep up with it. And that is such an insane process. Part of how we do that is I'm on a webinar once a month with new strategies. I was taking classes on how to promote your business on TikTok, because it's the fastest growing way to reach young guests. And then recently I was doing a seminar on TikTok may disappear, how to take that content and move it to, back to Instagram or to Facebook. How to do the job but be smart about it, because working smarter, not harder, is very real. And a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of small business owners, you are wearing, if not all the hats, most, and it's too much. Nobody can keep up with all of that. So finding resources to help has been immensely powerful. When I create an event, we put it on our website. Well, first we do the graphic work for it, because graphic design's expensive, and luckily I'm capable. So create the graphics, collect the information, put it online. Put it on our website, put it on our Facebook page. But Wish TV's community calendars are out there. Every TV station has a community calendar. There's places like Do 317, Visit Indy, downtown Indianapolis, all these different sites, and you think, okay, now I have to create the same event for all of them? That's half a day's work, especially finding them, hunting them down, understanding how this process works. Or you can use a company that you load your event into and it sends it out to all of them. Cost a little bit. Like for us, I think we pay $9 per event. If I can't make that $9 back for that event, I'm doing the wrong event. But it's also recognizing different age groups are going to find information in different places. The smartest way to keep up with the Reels and the TikTok and the I call it the ADD attention span that we've all developed with TikTok and Reels and video content in general. People have become so accustomed to those 30, 60-second bites. Get my attention, give me the information, and let me move on. Because there's going to be a puppy video, and if I don't get to it soon, I'm just going to log off my phone. And what I love is that when you create content for one, you've created content for all of them. Use your phone, take some video clips. I like to use an editing software on my phone. The one I use is CapCut. And I can splice together a video, throw a sound on it. I can put my closed caption, because you want to be inclusive. And then with that video, I can post to TikTok, I can post to Instagram, I can post to Facebook, I can post on our website, I can post on pretty much anything but YouTube. And it works really well, and now I've worked less and created more content. The biggest mistake people make is when they post to TikTok and then they save that, trying to post that to something over on Meta with Facebook and Instagram. The algorithm for Facebook and Instagram sees that TikTok logo on there, and now you're going way down in viewers. But if you create that video independently, you can, and like I said, I use CapCut, there's all kinds out there. And now you create something that doesn't have that watermark, you can post on everything, and it's not going to affect your algorithm, so your views go up. Being a community supporter, there are phenomenal organizations. Working with Indie Pride helps us. Working with organizations like Trans Solutions, Brothers United, Damien Center. There's so many organizations that we're trying to create a service for their clients, a place where they can come and be social and be safe. And so they're willing to help us out. And I think those organizations exist for every company. We have a cornhole night now. We've had this space out here where it's plenty of room to play cornhole. And we were like, well, how do we get people interested in that? We found an organization, Pride Sports. They have a whole cornhole league that was looking for a home. So it's finding community support is a great way to connect with people. And then to reach the people, the most effective strategy is the multi-pronged strategy. And without bogging yourself down, find the community organizations whose clientele resembles the guests that you want for your business, and support them, and they will support you. And that takes very little effort. Finding them takes more effort than engaging with them. Finding smarter ways to engage online. There's too many sites, too many places to post your events. Find those organizations and companies that will help you distribute that information. And make sure you have something up in your store, because at the end of the day, when your guests come in, whether they're first times or regulars, you want them to see your events and support your events. That's the best way to do it, is get that stuff in front of them. But if you cover those three things, your business is going to see some return.
To learn more about Downtown Ollie's or any of our Running Your Business Day-to-Day segments, visit beoshow.com. Scan the QR code, it'll get you right there. Later, a new meeting space in Indianapolis redefines VIP. But right after this break, the Department of Public Works in Indianapolis is looking for new and diverse partners.
Every business is unique, and every business has a target audience. Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble to reach a customer base that spans the globe. Pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. No matter the size of your business, put Circulus Digital Media to work for you and get results.
Each week on Business Equity and Opportunities, we focus on a certain industry. The Office of Minority and Women Business Development is working with the City of Indianapolis on its diversity outreach efforts. In the past, we've reported on work with Indy Parks. This time, DPW is the focus.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities, Industry Focus.
Indianapolis Department of Public Works is hosting its first diversity outreach, sharing upcoming opportunities, including some brand new ones with minority, women, veteran, and disabled-owned business.
We are doing an outreach event with the Department of Public Works on June the 29th. We basically it's a sort of a continuation of some of the outreach events that we've already done with Indy Parks and some of the other city department agencies, but we're basically just coming alongside of DPW, assisting them with doing more outreach to our diverse business community, helping to promote the events, helping them to identify businesses they want to reach out to. But really, this is just part of our overall initiative and goal of just being as inclusive as possible and doing as much outreach to the minority business community as we can.
DPW is excited to be partnering with OMWBD to provide the opportunity to both educate our minority small businesses in Indianapolis and also network with them. We're going to make our project managers available and our engineering staff available to answer questions about upcoming projects and offer a presentation about opportunities that businesses have to contract with DPW in the coming months. Everything from small projects for small drainage, culverts in residential areas, to big exciting projects like two-way conversions in the Hawville near West Side neighborhood, and things like multimodal transportation products like the Nickel Plate Trail should be going out to bid later this year. So wide and varied in both the type and scale of projects. This year alone, DPW has $443 million dedicated to stormwater and transportation improvements across the county. And over the next 5 years, we have a $1.1 billion capital plan budget. So there's going to be plenty of opportunity. And what I hope is that this first event that we're going to be co-hosting with OMWBD is just a jumping off point to get more interest, for folks to gain knowledge and understand what the opportunities are and how to tap into those and think creatively in the future about how to become a bigger part of our overall transportation program.
We're getting really good response. I mean, people are very appreciative of the fact that we're trying to open city government up and to come out to the community, to where folks are, and do these outreach events to give them an opportunity to not only meet and talk with city staff about the various projects and opportunities, but they also get the opportunity to network with other minority businesses as well as majority-owned businesses, and to create those key relationships that you need to be able to participate in a lot of these projects. So the outreach and the response that we've been getting has been overwhelmingly good.
I think the community is right to expect more out of us, and we want to meet them where we are. That's part of the reason that we're hosting the event out in the community at a Parks facility, and want to open ourselves up for answering questions and filling in the gaps if folks have questions. We'll have our engineering staff and their project management team offer presentations on some of the specific projects we have coming up, and also go over the type of work we're looking to contract out for. And then we'll make folks available to answer specific questions and really get into the weeds if people have technical questions after the formal presentation. We'd prefer folks register in advance just so we can have an accurate head count, but certainly welcome all to participate that are able to, even if you're showing up the day of. So you can find us on Eventbrite, and we hope to see you there next Thursday. We're excited. We've participated in the outreaches that OMWPD has put together in the past. Actually, as I understand it, this is the first opportunity we're providing a standalone with just DPW. So we're excited about that and continuing to grow and meet our commitments regarding diversity and contracting.
This event is open to folks who are certified and those who aren't certified, but for those who aren't, this will be a good opportunity because you get to see and hear about some of the opportunities and the projects that are coming up. And if you want to participate in those, you do need to go through our office to get certified. So I will be there. I'll talk a little bit about certification, what the process looks like, the timeline and everything else, and answer any questions. But we definitely want to encourage folks to get certified, not only to participate in DPW opportunities, but also with all of our city government opportunities. That is one of the ways that we are able to make sure that diverse businesses get to participate on these projects is by verifying that they're certified. So we encourage all of those businesses out there. If you are a minority, women, veteran, or disabled-owned business enterprise and you're not certified with the city, you need to do so.
It's not just really technical skills necessary to contract with the city. Landscaping, routine maintenance, ground maintenance, trees, things of that nature are all sorts of type of opportunities we have when it comes to infrastructure projects, along with also the more technical skills and equipment necessary for things like paving and those bigger and more intense infrastructure projects.
As everybody hopefully is aware of now, the city is going to be building a new hotel in conjunction with our general contractor. This will be a part of the Indianapolis Convention Center expansion. Project will last about 3 years and probably looking at a total budget of somewhere between $700 to $800 million. So it's going to be a lot of work. Outreach events are going to be starting soon. I think the first one is actually the day before the DPW event, but then we're going to be doing outreach events throughout the remainder of the year to talk about and promote the different bid packages, the opportunities. So pretty soon folks are going to hear a lot about this project. And once again, with anything else that we do, if you have questions about it, feel free to reach out to our office or go to our website and get more information. But yeah, it's a big project. We have a lot going on right now within the city.
If you'd like to learn more about the DPW Diversity Outreach event, getting certified, or seeing any of our past industry-focused segments, the links are on beoshow.com. Scan the QR code. If you are a woman entrepreneur or you aspire to be, you'll want to watch today's success story. It's right after this break on Business Equity and Opportunities. The hour's drawing short on Business Equity and Opportunities, but we will always wrap things up on our weekly high note, the success story. The VIP Center for Business Women is the first co-working, meeting, events, and Airbnb space entirely for women. The center works to help businesses grow and flourish through coaching, memberships, and mentoring. The mission started with a vision and prayer.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities Success Story.
So the VIP Center for Business Women is a place where corporate and entrepreneurial women can come to build community, to build their faith, and to grow their businesses in the business world. So we work with women from all walks of life through membership. But we have a very unique environment here because we don't just have memberships, but we have Airbnb for female guests. We get a lot of traveling nurses who come and stay with us. We also do public events for business women, and we also book our space privately to help support our mission around women. I was in corporate for many years, and I started a coaching and consulting firm after that corporate career. And I was working from home, just doing really well in the consulting space. And I'm a faith-based woman, and so one day I was at my house and I just heard this small voice that said, "I have a building for you." And my immediate reaction to that was, I don't want a building. I don't want the overhead. So it took me a little while for that to grow on me, and then I eventually started looking for a building, not really sure what it was going to be all about. And we came to this building. This building was not even for sale, but it was arranged through my real estate agent. She knew about this house. And I walked in here to this place. It was in shambles. It's a 1903 mini mansion and it had never been fully renovated. And the moment that I walked in here, I knew exactly what it was going to be. And it's what it is today and even more. So it's a really beautiful story of everything. My husband and I took 9 months to renovate it. We survived that together. And we opened up August 23rd, 2019. We have a wide variety of women who come through. We have a lot of corporate women who want to make the leap into entrepreneurship. And so we actually help them to do that at a very practical level. We do a lot of done-for-you services with them, but we also coach them and help them to get their start in business. We have women who they've been in business, they aren't flourishing, and so they come to us for help, and we help them to really look at their business model and do what it takes to make them both purposeful and profitable. One of my favorite people is Marty Justice. She is a wardrobe expert, and she came to us having no clue how to run a business. She just knew that she was an expert at helping detox closets. So we helped her revamp her whole business, and now she is rocking and rolling. She's got clients and she's doing great at her business. So we do work with a lot of women who are in the workplace. They don't have their own business, but their heart is set on being in those corporate environments. And we see a lot of mindset challenges with them. They're struggling with confidence, a lot of insecurity. They're not sure what their next move is. And we, as part of our community, we have coaching programs to help them to reinvent themselves, whether they're going to go into business for themselves or they're going to continue on in their corporate career. So we see women really being more intentional and thoughtful about what their next move is. And some women are just deciding not to go back into the workforce. Some are choosing to retire, to take a break, and really dig deep in what they want to do with their lives. I think a lot of people look at small business as, honestly, they look at it as a losing battle, but that's not what we're finding. We have a special niche of women that they're really dead set on bringing their talents to the marketplace, and we're helping them to do that. Everybody who comes through here, I think it has a lot to do with just getting the training that they need and the understanding. Women, they're not born knowing how to make their website. They have no idea how to create a marketing funnel. And those are some very simple methods that we can teach them so that they can be successful in their business. And women are doing that. It's just a matter of them really wanting to do that. And we spend a lot of time building them up and building up their confidence. Yeah, when I was in corporate, the common theme was, well, you can only be good at one thing, and that's absolutely not true. I was in corporate, an artist, I love to do a lot of things, and I think that the climate now is so ripe for that, for women to do multiple things and be successful at those. And they all, they all align and click together. This place has art. This is really my stress management. This is everything that you see on the walls here. I can look at each piece of art and know it was stress management for me. And women, they need that outlet. There's a lot of women out there that have a side gig, even though they're working full time, and it's fun and it's a release for them, especially with the stress post-COVID, all of the stress that's brought. So when we talk about VIP, it means visions in progress. All women are visions in progress. The truth is that the world has, up to this point, put a limit on them, but there's no limit. And so I've seen some women come out of their shell and do things that they never thought that they could do because they finally understood a vision about their work and their meaning in life. What I love is when women come together in community and they just feel that safe place. And the VIP Center is a safe place. We have women coming from all over the country to stay at our Airbnb rooms, and they feel like this is a safe home away from home. And I love taking care of them. I love the hospitality of that. We have women who come to our monthly networking circles, and to see them connect and be excited because they've connected with someone that believes in their vision, that's what I love, and I'm going to keep doing that probably till the day I die.
If you'd like to learn more about the VIP Center for Business Women, you can find links at beoshow.com. Scan the QR code, it'll get you right there. That is Business Equity and Opportunities for this week. Our thanks to everybody who shared a story with us. If you need more information about any of the topics on today's show, find the links at our website. You can also find past segments of the show from each of our 7 weekly topics. Please listen to and subscribe to our Business Equity and Opportunities podcast on the All Indiana Podcast Network. Sign up for our newsletter. We promise we update it every Tuesday. If you have any questions or a story to share of your own, send us an email at beo@wishtv.com. We will see you next week for Business Equity and Opportunities. Until then, I'm Scott Sander. Have a great Sunday.
Business Equity and Opportunities is made possible by Indiana Economic Development Corporation, Inno Power, Bose McKinney & Evans, Gemco, and Fifth Third Bank.